Okay, it's broadcasting.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Oh my God. Are you serious? It is week 4. Are you serious? Week 4 of season 1. Actually, it was week 3. The week hadn't even been completed yet. You want to call yourself greatness? More like quitness, more like bitchness. And we all know why you want to talk about being too into wins and losses. If you're not into wins and losses, why are you even here? Everybody cares. It's not about caring, it's about it being easy. And we all know it because the guys like Ryan, the guys like Bond, they're not here anymore, are they? You got actual teams in your division that can beat you. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't just walk to the playoffs anymore. How am I going to get all this XP that I need to develop my team? Whatever will I do? It's not a cakewalk anymore. It's tough. I actually have to try? Me? I have to try? No, that's not even, no, we're not doing this. If you didn't want to be here, then don't be here. Why you got to fuck up everything for everybody else? Oh, hey, Rich. What's up?
Hey, man, just hanging out.
Ready to start the show?
Let's do this.
Cool.
All right, guys, welcome to the Awfully Good podcast with Rich and Mike. This is going to be our season, our first quarter breakdown, I guess, our quarterly season breakdown. That doesn't sound right, but you know what I mean. This is the first quarter of season 1. We're going to talk about here. We're going to go over some power rankings. We're going to do a top 10. We're going to talk about our surprises and disappointments so far this season. And yeah, so we're going to jump right into that instead of, I don't have much to rant about. Mike did all the ranting for me. So how you doing today, Mike, after that rant?
Well, I've been awake for like 3 hours, and I'm kind of tired now because I just expended some energy. But I'm ready to throw more shade if you need me to.
The more shade, the better. I have a feeling that's going to be a hit. At least I hope so. So where you want to start here? The disappointments?
I love negativity, but let's talk about surprises first. Who is somebody that has surprised you so far?
So I have a couple there, but for sure the 49ers. I'm gonna start there because he's 3-1. His only loss is to the Chiefs, who they're red hot right now. His defense is playing great. He's only allowed, let's see here. Oh, I don't see it anymore. I don't have it. Anyway, his team's playing well, and he's beating teams. He's beat the Vikings. His one loss is to the Chiefs. So, I mean, I can't say much else about that. But he has some serious teams coming up with the Cardinals, the Packers, the Rams, the Raiders. So we're going to see what happens. But so far, I thought the 49ers were going to be at the bottom of the pit in the West there, and they're clearly not going to be. That's not the case.
I mean, yeah, like we talked before about how we didn't really know who he was, even though we've been in a league with him before. But that 49ers team overall isn't very good. And I believe he lost Jimmy GQ for a while. So he's been doing all this with CJ the GOAT Beathard.
I know for sure week 1 and week 2, Jimmy G went down. I didn't see if he was down long term or not.
But I would say one of my main surprises is going, and I'm pretty sure there's something in the game, whereas the Indianapolis Colts, no matter how bad that team is supposed to be, are just going to win games. Because every year that I've been here, the Colts just win games. I don't get it.
No, I agree. The Colts are, I mean, surprising as hell. But they're not just beating teams, right? So like they scored 82 points this season, and they've only allowed 47. I think point differential is huge, and that 47 points is low for a team that's as bad as it is on defense. I don't know how the hell he's doing what he's doing. It's impressive.
But as it relates to teams on the other end of the spectrum, I'm going to have to go with your Super Bowl pick. He's probably going to turn it around, but RKO and the Jets are not looking good really right now at 1-3.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I know it looks like he's going to Teddy Bridgewater for week 5, he said today. So I don't know if Sam Darnold's just struggling early, but that's definitely shocking. I can agree with that for sure.
Like two more disappointments that I have personally are my boys B. Moore and Arlen in the AFC North, because they were supposed to like run that division, so it made me feel better about not being there.
Well, they're definitely on the low end, especially the Steelers. They're shockingly low with those weapons they have in Pittsburgh. There, it doesn't make sense that I think he scored what 47 points this season.
That's
That's
not a
low.
lot.
No, I mean you have Antonio Brown, you have Bell,
Bell got hurt though, so there is that.
but didn't Bell just get hurt like this week?
Possibly.
But you had him weeks 1 through 3, and then you still have Big Ben again. Antonio Brown, the tight end Jesse James is still there. I mean, I don't know. His only win is over the Browns right now, and the Browns aren't having the greatest start either.
Surprisingly, the Bengals, however, are up there with their start. I believe they're 3-1.
Yeah, and the Bengals. See, I had heard he was a ringer, and in week 1 he goes and he loses.
Right.
And his only loss was to the Colts, who are undefeated for now.
So many ringers.
Man, they're all over the place. So he loses to the Colts, and he actually has beat the Panthers. That's his only real quality win right now. That's a big win because the Panthers, he's good with a really good team. My another disappointment. Well, I guess the Steelers. We already talked about the Steelers there, but I'm kind of. This isn't like on the really low end. This is right in the middle of the pack. But the Eagles, they're only 2-2 right now. It looks like Public finally started to get it together, but
damn it,
I expected them to be really at the top.
He needs to keep, being bad, at least for a couple more weeks. This whole, turning it around bullshit isn't going to work for me.
Yeah, turn around before he gets to you. I think he put up like 30 points this week, so his offense finally came around. It wasn't the defense that was hurting him; it was really the offense. And if he figured that out, then we're all in for some shit because I have the Eagles coming up also.
Like, I don't know if it counts as a disappointment, but the Chargers are 0-4, and with that stacked team, like Chargers being 0-4 is very sim. They do that every year, but I feel like he should have at least one win with that team.
Oh, I can agree with that. But I mean, let's see who he's played here. It would be he almost beat the 49ers last night. Actually, that was the game almost went to overtime. So at least he's competing, and he's played the Chiefs. The Chargers, yeah. He's played, let's see, offense, one another played. He's played the Chiefs, Rams, and 49ers. So, I mean, he's played some really good teams.
The Rams started out slow, but I believe they've turned it around to at least, they're 2-2. The Rams and Vikings are 2. I don't want to say they're disappointments. I just thought they'd be better than they are based on the user and the team.
I agree. The Rams were your Super Bowl pick, weren't they?
Oh, yes. Rams and the Jags. Speaking of the Jags, they can go fuck themselves. Did I say that out loud? Never mind.
Just a teaser of the power ranking thing, though. I have the Rams at 15. They're not in the top 10, but I have them at 15 right now, and they should be. I would have thought in the first quarter of the season they'd be in the top 10.
Right. But up tippy top of power rankings, speaking of those, who do you got?
You want 10 or you want 1? How do you want to do this?
Let's go 5. I think 5's enough.
5?
Anything after that, people don't care and won't listen to it.
At 5, so this one's kind of tricky. I have the Indianapolis Colts at 5.
Okay. Is that like, say they lose today, are you dropping them significantly?
No. This is dependent on if they win. If they win, they shoot up to probably nearly. Well, if they win, they'll shoot up to almost number 2. But right now, they're at 5. If they, they're not. Well, they'll go to 4 at the very least, I would say. But beating the Texans would be a huge win, so he'd have to jump up quite a bit.
So you got it 4 then.
At 4, I have the Texans, the team he's playing tonight.
Okay.
And really, both those teams could move up to 3 if either one wins. I'm looking at right now, and that's why I'd have them jumping because it would be a quality win over the number 3 team, who actually I have the Jaguars at number 3. And
all right.
The Jaguars at 3, they are dominating, but he hasn't played any real, he did beat the Jets, but the Jets almost came back and beat him. And that was the one game where it was one of the better known users. I don't want to discount the other guys he's played, but the better known users. And he is dominating teams, though. I'm looking at the points for, points against, which, like I said, is huge for me. And that's 117 to 51. So he's no surprise he's only allowed 51 points this season.
And surprisingly, that was one of the few games that didn't disconnect in the fourth quarter.
True. Also, he's playing the Chiefs in Week 5, so that
That'll
game
be a key game.
exactly. So that could, if he wins that game, he could jump to number 1, because then he'd have a real quality win over a team that we'll get to where the Chiefs are at, but yeah, that'd be a real win for him. But a loss there, I believe, would drop him down to 5 at the least.
Who do you got at 2 now?
Well, at 2, I have myself. And
of course you
the
do.
Saints.
Because you can't give yourself any credit.
Well, I'm going to explain why, though. I haven't played anybody but greatness outside of that. Well, okay, I've played you. But, again, also, my team is doing a lot of the work. I still don't feel like I'm doing much on offense.
Except glitch plays.
Except one glitch play. That wasn't even the glitch part of the play. It wasn't in cover 3. So
I don't want to hear your excuses. Just move on.
So, but starting in Week 8, I have a really tough road. I have to play the Vikings, the Rams, the Bengals, and the Eagles. It's going to get rough there. So we're really going to see in the second quarter, well, really it'll be the third quarter of the season where you're really going to see what my team is made of. But
all right.
But my points for, points against, if I'm going off of points for, points against, I would be number 1, but I'm not, because I don't have the quality wins that the number 1 team has, which is the Chiefs. And
that's my reaction. That's my reaction on your list.
Why? Well, who do you have at number 1?
At number 1, I have you, because you have the best team with the best record. Below you, I have the Houston Texans, assuming he, wins tonight, which I believe he will. Below him at number 3, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. I said that incorrectly. And then
Freudian slip.
Yeah, a little bit. And then right below him, you go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then for my number 5 team, little under the radar, I have the Seattle Seahawks and our boy Sharon Rapp. Because he gave up Tyler Lockett and he got Funches. And I'm not sure I agree with that. It's whatever. But I think he's still, he's still going to be good. He's still a good user. And he's still got RW. And I think he'll fight through and take over the spot that the 49ers have, assuming the Rams do not.
So I'm confused to why you have the Chiefs at number 3 and not 1 or 2.
The
Chiefs have beat the Steelers, the 49ers, the Broncos, and the Chargers. They have at least.
You just listed an 0-4 team, a 1-win team, and
two 3-1 teams.
All right. But when you roll out that much, I don't really care about how good you are.
Okay, so you're taking that into account.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair enough. I'm not gonna argue that point.
Okay, so we just did the tippy top of the list.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go into the future, end of season 1, with the first overall pick. Who you got?
I have the Washington Redskins.
I don't disagree with that. I don't think the roster's as good as I thought it was, I guess. Maybe good old Papa isn't having the best stretch. I think
the problem is I'm going to lose week 5 now because I have the Redskins with the first pick in the draft. I play them week 5.
I would prefer you not.
I would prefer I not also. But I have them at number 5 because he's only scored 33 points this season. His defense is playing well, and he's played against 3 solid users with the Cards, the Colts, and the Packers. But you got to score more than 33 points in 3 games. Granted, he hasn't played a 4th, so that's only 11 points a game.
Right. I think the key to him is going to be how he stacks up in the division, because if public's turning around, the Dallas roster is, what it is, and then I stop throwing interceptions, he's going to have a hard go there.
Well, that's true. That's the other side to that is the division that he's in. It's going to be tough because I still feel like he has the weakest team in the division.
I don't necessarily have him. I think he's in contention, but I'm going to throw another name just to be different, and that is going to be the Tennessee Titans. Because the Titans overall, roster-wise, does not impress me. I don't think Mariota and the running game is doing much. I don't know how many points he's scored yet because I don't do research like some people.
48.
48 in 4 games. That's not a good average.
Let me explain, though. He's played the Texans, the Jaguars, and the Eagles so far.
Okay, I'll give him that credit, but going forward, if he doesn't turn it around, it's not going to matter.
No, I can't really disagree because points against, he's allowed 132 points.
Oof.
And only scoring 48. That's going to be
Oof.
tough. And man, week 1, I remember thinking they put up a lot of offense in week 1 against the Dolphins and then losing to the Dolphins. And I remember thinking week 1 was like, man, this guy's going to put up some points this season. And then he just hasn't. I don't know if it's turnovers or what, but something's hurting that team. But you see, like he scores 22 in week 1 and then 12, 0, and 14. But again, Texans, Jaguars, Eagles.
So, good defenses.
Right. Good users.
So we've went over who we think is the top. We went over who we think is going to be the bottom. Do you have any changes to your original Super Bowl prediction?
Who was my original? I had the Jets against the Eagles, right?
Yes.
Okay, so in the NFC, I'm going to stick with the Eagles because I think public's getting it together now. And as far as making the Super Bowl, I think it's going to be the same. I think it's Eagles. The AFC, I'm not too confident on the Jets right now. I don't want to change the pick, but I feel like I'm going to need to change the pick right now. So I'm going to go with Jaguars. I think it's going to be Eagles, Jaguars.
Before, I had the Jaguars against the Rams. And I'm not feeling very confident in the NFC portion of that. I'm not going to put up – I don't want to say that the Rams can't make it, but he's just not looking as strong as I thought he would in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And the Jaguars could probably go undefeated, assuming none of his games actually finish the first time he plays them.
Shade.
It's what I'm here for. But I think I want to stick with Jags, Rams, but I think I'm going to actually swap both of them.
Really?
I'm going to throw another AFC South team in there, and that's the Texans, because good old boy RFF and his ability to run around the field and intercept my passes has convinced me that he is at – because where he was season 1 in Madden 18 was not that great. Where he is season 1 right now is pretty great. And I think he can, assuming he gets that win over the Colts and wins that division, because I don't think there's not going to be one division that has like 3 playoff teams. I think it's too crowded for that to happen. But I got the Texans going for the AFC. And in the NFC, I am going to switch my pick to the Eagles because it makes me look better.
I mean, that makes sense. So basically, I got the NFC right so far, and you got the AFC. Well, no, you changed your AFC pick.
Yeah, but I'm right regardless of what I do.
Well, I'm going to disagree with the Texans, though, because I do have a lot of confidence in RFF, but I think the division, the way those other two teams are playing, I don't know, man. It's going to be hard for him to even win the division, having to play the Jaguars and Colts twice. Now, granted, the Jaguars and Colts play each other twice also.
Mm-hmm.
But I think tonight's going to be a big game, because if he loses that game, I don't see him winning the division, even though it's just one loss. But he'll be one game behind 2 great teams at that point. And the lesser of the 2 teams, who I believe is the Colts, is going to have beaten the Texans already. And this is just, nothing's happened yet, so I don't want to assume too much. But again, if he wins the game, that changes also, because I think that takes the Colts out of the division. And I know it's early, and I know it's one loss, but that's how it feels right now.
Right.
Because the Texans aren't losing games they're supposed to lose. They're supposed to win.
All right. So besides your own division, which we've apparently proven is really hard because it makes people quit, what would you say is the toughest division in the league right now?
I think it's the AFC South. I don't even think it's debatable right now. When you have 3 teams that are, well, one's 4-0 and 2 teams are 3-0. One's going to, you're going to have 2 4-0 teams after tonight and 1 3-1 team.
I see that. The Titans are. I don't want to like throw shade at the Titans because I don't know King that much, but he's holding the division down for being the toughest, in my opinion.
But I think he's had a tough schedule, hasn't he? Didn't we talk about this where it's been brutal as shit? Yeah, the Jaguars, Texans, and Eagles. So he's played the three teams that we have had in the Super Bowl at one time or the other. He's played three of those teams.
I think overall, mostly because there's a surprise in it, the NFC West with you got the Rams, you've got Seattle's looking pretty good, the 49ers pretty good, and I think Arizona's about 2-2, and they're looking solid. I think that's a good overall division from top to bottom.
That's extremely fair. I can definitely see that. That's a good call there. I didn't even think about the fact that that whole division is up there.
Right.
Pull it up real quick here and look. You're right. You got 2-2, 3-1, 3-1, 2-2. Yeah, but the reason I'm going to stick with the AFC South is because I think the top of the AFC South is better than the top of the NFC West right now.
I'll agree with that. As long as we can agree that the AFC West is the worst division overall, I'm just going to throw that out there.
I gotta think about that. I don't want to just throw shade for no reason because the AFC West, look, 3-1, 4-0, 3-1. I don't know, man.
I don't know. They don't call it the AFC worst for no reason. Maybe that's just me. Never mind.
It might be.
What else you want to talk about though? Because we haven't been talking that long.
No, it was actually pretty quick. What about slider changes? I know we had some changes this week, and we were talking about in the chat yesterday. Let me look real quick. I don't know how RFF feels about us talking about sliders. I don't know if I want to get too much into it. What do you think?
I mean, I'm ready to throw shade if you are not. It's not necessarily shade. It's just, I don't know, man. We're going to raise pass blocking because people take sacks and throw interceptions? Is that what we're doing?
Well, look, I'll play the RFF role here. So,
okay.
Pass blocking is being raised because the yards per drop back is low. He's trying to get that higher. So, he has to have better pass blocking to get those numbers up. So, what's the concern there?
That people just stand in the pocket and wait for deep routes to open up and either take a sack or throw or chuck it deep, and it's an interception. Therefore, no yards or negative.
That's what I think is happening. This is what's kind of off is that I think guys are sitting in the pocket and trying to wait for the longer routes to develop. So, like you were just saying, and once that happens, they're either going to get sacked or they're going to throw a pick because it's deeper downfield and they're in the pocket longer. There's two negatives can happen there. Only one positive. The one positive would be a big gain. And the other negative, well, I guess there's three negatives because it could just go incomplete also.
Right. But it is what it is, and I'll deal with it because I'm not having problems overall throwing the ball because I completed all of my passes last week, to someone at least.
Well, that's the other side to that too, is that pass blocking going up, I hope it doesn't really affect me at all. I know my offense will be fine because I was doing fine with it before. I'm kind of concerned about the defense, but again, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. It's just going to be something else to think about. But the QB accuracy seems to be up there. I don't know if that's going to drop or not, but it seems like it's high. Now, it seems high because I have Drew Brees. So my opinion is a lot different than somebody else who might have like J-Shock with Jameis Winston. His opinion might be that, it's fine the way it is because I'm throwing incompletes left and right.
Right.
Now, in your case, you have a quarterback that's along those lines of Jameis Winston, and you're not throwing incompletes left and right. But that's not exactly how are you doing game to game? Is that just a one-game sample against me where you were 20 of 22? Or is that how you're about what you're looking at every week?
Last week, at one point during the game, I was 10 of 13 with 3 interceptions.
That was against the Texans?
Yes.
All right. And before that, was it high completion percentages?
I would say I can actually just look it up while I ramble on and talk a little bit. I'll just click this button, and then it's almost as like I knew this already, but don't worry about it. I don't know.
What are you looking for? Your stats?
Yeah. Mr. Kyle Loletta. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I just call him Kyle for that reason. Well, let's see. Week 1, which was Sim, so we don't count that. Week 2 was 67.9, followed by 71, followed by 90.9. I'm getting better. Yay.
So if you think about it, though, week one, I'm assuming would have been low because it was the Jaguars. But week two, we went to, I believe he said 55. Is that right? Yeah, went to 55 week 2 on pass blocking. So you were at what you said 69 in week 2,
67.9.
67.9 in week 2. Week 3, we went up to 57, and you were at 71%. And then we went up to 65, and you threw, what was it, 90%? 90%.
Yeah. But that 67.9 was a 41-34 final also.
So, yeah, you were slinging it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, hopefully it doesn't make a huge difference. RFF says that it won't. I'm gonna say that he's right because he knows more about this than pretty much anybody else I know that does this stuff. So I don't want to, I'm not trying to question the guy. I know when I ran a league, I told this to RFF yesterday in a DM. I was like, when I ran a league, like it's the worst. I didn't tell him this yesterday, but we had talked about it before. But I ran a league before, and the most aggravating thing was when I change a slider and guys would be like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why aren't you doing this? So like I get it, we're not trying to throw that kind of shade at it.
But it's not like we're that dude with the 67 overall running back that complains he can't run the ball.
Well, that's exactly right.
I have a 71 overall quarterback. I get it. It's down because he has his low awareness. His medium and short accuracies are 82 and 84. I don't think he should be completing 90% of his passes.
No, he shouldn't. That's play styles going to be part of that also.
Right.
Better at passing the ball, that's fair. I can accept that. But what was it? Josh Allen was at like 84%. Now I think I brought but I brought that up to RFF because we had talked about accuracy, and I was like, what about Josh Allen's at like 84%? He said, well, if you look at his interceptions to touchdowns, it's way off. It's like I think 9 interceptions to 6 touchdowns or something. So it's not like he's having massive success with an inaccurate quarterback. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I do feel that it's high. I do. It's my opinion is that it's high, but that's just a feeling I have when I'm playing the game. That's not based on any hard stats.
Right. It's like when you look at only 22 passes, it's hard to judge what it should be. Should I be 15 of 22 or whatever? What's the difference there?
Right. I mean, 20 of 22 could have easily ended up being 25 of 32.
Right.
At the end of the game.
And it's not like I was chucking it. It was 20 of 22 for like 200 yards. So it's not like I'm completing because his deep accuracy isn't very good. So I just didn't go deep, basically.
Well, that and at the end of the game, you weren't the guy that was trying to sling the ball around to catch up when the game was out of reach.
No, I was just trying to get those Russian stats, baby. Give me.
You were just running the ball, which is, the game's over. You're not going. If you don't need to sling it, don't sling it. But if you'd have had the mentality of like, fuck it, I'm just gonna discuss it when I'm not trying to criticize too much.
Save your ass. It's okay. Suck up.
Well, I mean, I have Drew Brees, and I understand like I'm hitting at the last 2 games at a ridiculous rate of like 94% both games, but I'm not having to throw the ball much. And when I do, I have good receivers. I have a 92 Michael Thomas, an 83 Meredith. Even my third is an 82 with Macklin, and then I got Kamara out of the backfield. It's not like I'm throwing it to crap receivers. But
I wish you would have been.
But I think like you said, we're not talking about, hey, my quarterback's 71 overall, and I'm only completing like 50%. I think the slider needs to go up. I think
I'm the opposite of that.
Exactly.
I don't know. You got anything else you want to talk about?
I'm looking through it right now. Let's see.
You got any shade you want to throw on somebody that used to be in your division?
I threw enough shade to get him out of the league, I guess.
Spicy.
But I will tell you this: Lattimore shaded Julio Jones to 0 catches for 0 yards in that game.
Oof.
That was impressive. But no, I don't have actual shade to throw at anyone.
So my brother just messaged me because he was talking about joining the league, and I said no, basically. And he said, I used the same play and just alter the routes for the matchup. And I'm like, whatever. You're just talking about why I didn't want you to join.
But it's different routes, but it's the same play. But the routes are different. Okay, but that doesn't make it better. You called the wrong play if all the routes are different now. Call a different play.
I think half the reason I haven't invited him is because I talk so much shit about him, though.
I doubt he'd actually be able to find it, though.
I assume somebody would bring it up.
He'd have to go searching. First of all, he'd have to know how to use the search thing in the chat, which, on the internet, nobody knows how to use the search function. So
I search all the time. I don't know what you're talking about.
You do, but you're the only person I've ever seen use the search function.
It's easy. I don't know. I think we're done. I think we're rambling.
Yeah, I'm just looking through to make sure there's nothing else we need to cover. No, that's about it.
Well, this list, the ending of this left me with a very feeling. So I think we should end it now.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us. That was the first quarter, the quarterly podcast for season 1, quarter 1. We'll be back hopefully after week 8, no later than week 12. So until then, I hope you guys stay healthy on the field and win a whole bunch of games. Just not against me or Mike.
Everybody's going to win against me. It's whatever. It's fun. I get it.
So have a great Memorial Day, guys. Later.
Peace out, bitch.
Not Memorial Day. What the hell was that about?
What?
I said Memorial Day. I meant Labor Day. Have a great Labor Day, guys.
How dare you?